So right now I'm on Little Round Top here at Gettysburg battlefield. So this right here is one of the most majestic, fantastic views you'd ever see in your life. People from all over the world come up here to view this spectacular landscape. So as you can see, right now we are on the 5th Corps line. So this is the 5th Corps, so under Sykes. So right now we're on Little Round Top, which goes around here to Big Round Top under Sedgwick. So right now, Devil's Den is right down there. It's that piece of rocks down there. So those rocks, that rock formation right there, was known as one of the most bloodiest actions during Gettysburg. Super bloody. Super. Like, people were literally throwing rocks at each other. It was, when they were reloading, they had no time to reload because of the fighting was so bloody and so vicious down there that the Confederates and Union were both using rocks, stones as big as softballs, throwing them at each other. It's absolute barbarism. So that right there is Devil's Den. So that's what you're looking at right there. And over in the distance is Rose Woods. So Rose Woods is over in that direction right there. So if you look at it from here, from this angle, you can see, well, actually this angle is better. So you got Rose Woods, which is right there, okay? And then you got Devil's Den, which is right there. So the Confederate line spanned right there. So what they were trying to do is they were trying to push up this landscape to try to take the high ground, because this wasn't claimed during July 1st. On July 1st, there was no forces up here. There was nobody really up here militarily. So basically, it was basically who claimed it first. So the Union wanted this landscape, and so did the Confederates. But since the Union claimed it first based on General Gouverneur Warren over there, which I'll show you in his statue in a wee bit. So he had the great observation on seeing this majestic high ground on, I think, July 2nd. He spotted it. And since he had the eye to see the strategic position that this was, the beautiful landscape, just the aerial view of the high ground, he had the great idea of taking this. Because look, right now we're right in this area. So basically you have a full observation point of this whole, let's just say, valley. So basically, if you get artillery up here, which the Union did on July 2nd, 1863, if you get artillery up here, they're going to be able to pound this valley and push the Confederates back, which is exactly what happened on July 2nd and July 3rd. So the Confederates basically wanted to flank the fishhook. So if the fishhook starts here and goes all the way down into the round tops, into the elevated landscape, the Confederates basically wanted to outflank this position. But the Union was able, by Kilpatrick, to push the Confederates back, basically catching them in a crossfire. And basically this open ground right here coming up to Little Round Top, the Confederates had to climb up the high ground while the 5th Corps and the artillery and the infantry were firing down upon them, sharpshooters and infantry units. But this, honestly, is probably one of the most popular and famous views on the Gettysburg battlefield. So many again might be wondering what the details are and what the reasoning was behind this, just say, landscape, why it was so popular. So basically this plaque gives a wee bit of a depiction on the details on Little Round Top. So July 2nd at 5 p.m., don't give an inch. So right here, standing right here, I don't know if you can see him, that is Colonel Strong Vincent of the 5th Corps. He was only 26 years old, which is pretty interesting, because I don't know if I could do it, but you know. So anyway, he was mortally wounded here. Strong Vincent's decisive action to occupy Little Round Top prevented a Union disaster. He died in a field hospital 5 days after the fight, perhaps unaware that he had been promoted to brigadier general. So basically, he was responding to General Warren's call for help, and Strong Vincent and his 1,300-man Union infantry brigade rushed to defend this hill and arrived none too soon, just as his men took position on the slopes below you, Texans and Alabamians of General John B. Hood's division streamed out of the woods to your left, like I showed you on the map, okay? They streamed out of these woods, okay, to your left. So, I don't know if you can see. Hold on. There we go. So, John B. Hood's division streamed out of them woods, right down there, okay? So, they streamed out of the woods. And rapid deadly fire from Vincent's line drove them back, but Hood's men rallied and renewed the fight. When the 16th Michigan Infantry began to give way, Colonel Vincent went to their aid and fell mortally wounded. Just then, over the hill behind Yins, so that way, poured the 140th New York Infantry led by Colonel Patrick O'Rourke. The New Yorkers, with unloaded muskets, swept down the hill in front of you into the surging Confederates. O'Rourke fell dead when a bullet pierced his neck. And so basically what's happening, like I said, okay. So the Southerners, or the Confederates, are charging up this terrain. This is a good angle. Wait, I gotta position it a wee bit. There we go. So this just shows, I mean, these boulders, mind you, listen, this is a great view. Look at this. So these boulders right here, this landscape, this just shows Jens how decisive and how important the strategy was. Because Hood's division is coming out of them woods right there, right over there. Jens can't see them, maybe not. They're coming up. They want this high ground. They want this. And the only way they're going to get it is if they press the 5th Corps off this hill. And Governor Warren, right over there, he needed infantry support. He needed support because there's really nobody up here. I mean, there was artillery, but what the hell are artillery going to do when there's literally screaming Confederates coming up this hill and going to run you off? I mean, the Confederates can only do so much at a long distance, but when it comes to them charging up the hill, up these slopes, let me just show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, so if you got Confederate infantry coming up this slope, okay, and this is rugged terrain, mind you. This isn't, I'm going to run up a grass hill unopposed. This is detrimental. I mean, if you start all the way down this hill and you run all the way up, you're gassed. And mind you, these men are absolutely gassed. They're absolutely fatigued. So when you're running up this hill and you have artillery up there, 5th Corps artillery, you're not going to have a good defensive position. Yeah, long range, but not short range. So that's why Strong Vincent, 26 years old, having the mindset that he did was absolutely phenomenal. But having that insight and having that military awareness in order to send infantry units here in order to prevent a literal Confederate takeover of the high ground is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm not being a nepotist. I'm not being partisan. I'm not trying to say that I support Union or Confederacy, because on both sides, and I honor both sides of the history and both sides of the war. I mean, come on, I'm an American on both sides. But regardless, it's pretty fantastic. And also, if you look at this, if you really just look at the majesty and the just amazing view, nowhere in the world do you have this. You don't have this anywhere. These borders, look at that. And here's the amazing thing about Gettysburg. Here's the thing that I love. Is that these boulders, these stones right here that I'm standing on and that I am talking to Indians from, these are the OGs, original gangsters. These are the real deals. I'm using Gen Z terms, so don't crucify me if you're a boomer, Gen X, or millennial. But listen, this is the original. This is not this is just fake news. No, this is real. This is where they fought. The same ground, the same terrain, the same boulders. This is where they hid. This is where they took defensive positions. the 5th Corps, when they were up here on July 2nd and 3rd, 1863, this is exactly it. You know what I mean? This isn't no fake, depiction. This is the real deal. And that's what I love about coming up here. And that's what I love about telling you about this, because this is the realest you can get, ladies and gentlemen. This is why you need to come up here, and this is why you need to see it, because you need to see it with your own 2 eyes. You need to be up here. You need to walk it. You need to see it, because me talking to yins on a camera doesn't do it justice. You need to put your feet on the soil, on the ground, and you need to come up here physically and observe the views. You need to observe the history with your own 2 feet. Look at this. Fantastic.